Hello, and welcome back to Evergreen Reptiles, an educational and informative reptile YouTube channel. It's been a while since I had a video. I've just been very busy with work and haven't had a lot of time. I did, in fact, get a new member of a Russian tortoise. His name is Shuckle, and he likes to hide a lot. He likes to bury himself and stay away from people. This is take 2 of today's video because I didn't like the last one. I didn't like how it went. But today we're going to talk about Spyro, my bearded dragon. Spyro is 8 years old. He is, or was, a normal bearded dragon, but as he aged, he became a citrus bearded dragon. And citrus bearded dragons have a orange color to underneath their chin, and which is common when it comes to citrus dragons, and they're more desired. He was not sold as a citrus bearded dragon, but that is what he became. He is an awesome pet, and I love him dearly. Now, people misunderstand how much of a commitment bearded dragons are when they first go to get them. Bearded dragons in the wild live about 10 to 15 years on average, but in captivity they live all the way up to about 40 years. So it is a big, big commitment when it comes to getting a bearded dragon. It's not just a pet that you're going to have for a few years, it's going to pass away, and you're going to be done. No, it is a lifelong committed pet. Pretty much. I got him when I was, I'd say, 19. I'm 26 now. Do the math, I'm probably wrong on it. I'm not very good with math. But he's awesome. But another thing is they eat crickets. So bearded dragons eat crickets. They can eat mealworms. They can eat cockroaches. Yes, there are cockroaches that they sell. I don't like them. I've met a few other bearded dragon owners who feed their bearded dragons cockroaches, and it's nasty. I don't like them. Crickets I can handle. Mealworms I can handle. Not cockroaches. Look. They also need to eat greens, certain vegetables. You can do your own research and find out which ones. They can eat some fruits. He loves blueberries. Spyro loves blueberries. He would go crazy for them. This is one of the things I get. It has these pellets in it that are vegetable based, or green based. I don't think they're specifically vegetables. These big old chunks that are blueberries, and it's got rose petals and mealworms in it. And it's supposed to give them all that nutrition stuff that they need. And there's dogs barking in the background. Sorry about that. But when you feed them crickets, you also need to make sure you give them calcium, because it helps their bones, and it helps their health, and it helps them nutritiously overall. So this is what I get. I get ZooMed Reptile Calcium with D3. And it's helped him. It's helped all my lizards, because you don't do calcium when it comes to snakes. They get their calcium, I assume, from the bones and the rats they eat. He's jumping around. Now, I brought out the hammock to see if he would like it, and looks like he's just tearing it down again. But this is what we got going on in Spyro's cage. So they are desert animals. Sorry, his cage is pretty dirty because he's a dirty boy. So you use sand that you can get at the pet stores. You want to make sure you have a house as well as a perch. You can have them separate. I have them in one, a house and a perch for him. And then a feed bowl for things like mealworms, vegetables, fruits. This is his whole old house right here that he outgrew. And then a water dish, which I cleaned yesterday. And if you own bearded dragons, you will come to find out they love to poop in it. They love to use it for other things than just drinking, like it's supposed to be. Now, when you get a water dish for your bearded dragon, make sure that it's not too big that they could potentially drown in it. I mean, it's not very common that a bearded dragon is going to drown. Now, is it impossible? it's not impossible. I mean, I've never heard of it happening, but who's to say it can't? Now, his bowl that he has is big enough that he can get in and out of it. He's big enough that he's not going to drown in his water. He can drink from it just fine. And people also need to realize that when they're babies, when they're little tiny things like that, or you see them in the pet stores, they're typically about yay big. You need to feed them daily. Daily crickets, because they're small and they need a lot of crickets to stay healthy and get bigger. When we were feeding him about 20 crickets a day, and now he's big, strong, and big old guy. Now, one thing I made a mistake of is if you can see his legs and see how they're curled inwards, I unfortunately, and I to this day regret this, was not giving him calcium with his crickets. And one day he jumped off his perch and broke both his legs. We took him to the vet, and there wasn't really anything they could do. And luckily his legs healed where he can still use them. He just kind of crawls, and how he's standing right now is how he always stands and how he walks. I said I regret that to this day, but it was just me. He was my second reptile, and I just wasn't ready, didn't have the knowledge, didn't do the research, and I regret that. But I hope me putting out these videos gives you those clues and that information and that knowledge, what to do and what not to do. Now, one instance, I ran into some people in Petco who were looking to buy a bearded dragon, and they didn't really know what to get. Petco people weren't really helping them, and they wanted to get dirt, which dirt can be okay depending on your bearded dragon. I mean, if they like it, but I've not met anyone that's had dirt for their bearded dragon. They tend to like sand because they're a desert animal, obviously. But I recommended to them that you should get some sand. If I remember correctly, it's because the dirt can get stuck in their ears and just clog up, whereas the sand can more easily come out their ears, because those holes right there are their ears. And yeah, see, he knows we're talking about him right now. And things can get caught in there. It's not very often, but the sand can roll out. Now, if you look at his chin, he has a little boo-boo on his chin. I gotta take him to the vet and make sure he's okay. But as you can see, his chin is nice and orange. Now, that's not very common with most bearded dragons, just citrus bearded dragons. They don't tend to have this orange reddish color to them, but he does. And he was not originally that color. He was more of the brown color that they have, because they puff up and it'll get nice and black, where his will get nice and red. It will go from orange to red, and that's when they go into defense mode. Now, that's another thing you need to know is when your bearded dragon goes into defense mode, it will puff up. It'll puff up the spikes on it. Now, the spikes don't really get that prickly. They're more to deter anything from attacking it, because when that whatever's attacking it or whatever's threatening it touches it, they are a little spiky when you first touch it. Now, I'm assuming if you were an animal and you bit a bearded dragon with your mouth, those would probably hurt. Putting pressure down in your mouth, it would probably hurt. Now, touching them, obviously we're not going to be grabbing our bearded dragons, but if you just gently touch them when they're puffed up, you'll feel what I'm talking about. It's a little prickly, but it's not like it's like a bone. It's more like a scale, kind of. And bearded dragons do shed. One thing... Nope, that's not it. If you have a bearded dragon that has shedding problems, they sell these things in bottles like this that you can spray on them, and you can also give them baths, which helps it. Slightly warm, not too warm, not cold, but just slightly warm baths to help get that skin off. It's the same process if you own a snake, but this is might repellent. We had a mite problem a little bit while ago. Now, if you have one reptile and you have mites, you'll spray this, problem solved, done. Clean your cage. I'll go over that in another video, how to solve mite problems. Now, if you have many reptiles like me, it's a big issue because you can solve the issue with the mites in one cage, but the next cage now has mites, and then the next cage now has mites, and the next cage, and it goes on for months. When you have a big reptile collection and you're trying to get rid of mites, it goes on for a while. How does one get mites? They can come in from outdoors. If you take your reptile outside and somehow it got a mite on it, but the most common way I've seen, and that's why I'm keeping the tortoise in quarantine, is they come from the pet store. Every time I've gotten a reptile, every time they come with mites. Not every time. My corn snake, I didn't have mites with, but I did get my corn snake at a different pet store. So, but Petco, I got him, I got them, well, not him. Chomper, my other leopard gecko, I bought from a reptile expert, so no mites. But Petco is notorious for their reptiles coming with mites. Now, I don't know if tortoises get mites because I'm learning about Russian tortoises still, so we'll be learning together. But I don't know if they get mites. I know they are reptiles, but I don't know if they can get mites. I'll have to find that out. Now, lizards, there's a big chance you might get mites. Snakes, big chance you might get mites. But they're pretty easy to solve. Just realize what you have going on when you see it. Now, if you see a little black dot moving around on your reptile, it's not an ant. It's not something you want. You want to solve that issue real fast. You can take them to the vet. The vet has ways to solve it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my spiel on bearded dragons. They're easy to take care of when they're juvenile or when they're older. They will live for 40 years in captivity. They need water. They need crickets or mealworms or cockroaches. They need certain types of vegetables and fruits, not all types. Do your research. Make sure you have the right types because some can be toxic, some can be deadly. It's not a lot, but it can be some. As well as make sure they have a UV lamp. He's got his UV lamp to this side and his heat lamp over here. Give him that sun and that heat, and take him outside when you can because Spyro loves the outside. And bearded dragons are considered the dog of the lizard community because they have their own personality just like a dog. They're all different. Every single one of them is different. And that's really all I got today. And thank you for whoever has subscribed so far. If you're liking what you're seeing, please give this a like and a comment. The comments help out a ton. Let me know what you want to see next. I may do another video today. I have leopard geckos, I have nocturnal leopard gecko, I have a ball python, tortoise, and bearded dragon we can go over. Just let me know what you like. And if you're new, please give me a subscribe and let me know what you like about the channel. Comment down below, give this a like, and everything helps. And thank you very much, and I hope to see you all again.